see then that back end as I went round there, it was literally snatching round. It is going to leave the wife stranded somewhere. It's just going to lock up. It could be actually really dangerous as well if it locks up, and we don't want that to happen because I'm quite fond of her.
Now, before we get into today's video, I want to talk to you about Vehicle Score. Now, Vehicle Score is a free vehicle checking service which you can visit by going to vehiclescore.co.uk or downloading their app. Now, if you're looking to buy a car, make sure you put your reg through Vehicle Score. By doing so, you'll get a unique score to your car, which you can compare to the ones in Vehicle Score's database. Now, Vehicle Score gather all the information on your mileage history, the MOT history, and break it all down to give you a unique score to that car, giving you lots of free information to help you buy your next vehicle. It will highlight issues with the MOT and any advisory issues. It'll tell you there's been a spike in mileage recently. Also gives you lots of free information about the vehicle itself, lots of data, also gives you an estimated valuation. Lots of other great products such as saving you money on your car insurance, breakdown cover, and all this information is completely free. But if you want to go that bit further and have your car HPI, their check service is one of the best out there. Making sure it's free of finance, making sure it's never been involved in an accident where it's been categorized, maybe it's been for a salvage auction as an uninsured loss, something that is really, really common. It'll make sure it's never been used as a taxi, never been imported or exported or had a change of color. If it's got a hidden past, Vehicle Score's check will find it. The checks are some of the most competitively priced out there. They start from less than £10, but don't worry because you get a discount for being a Car UK viewer. Simply use the promo code on screen now and you'll get an additional 20% off your paid check. Plus, if you pay a little bit more and get their refund cover, if your vehicle turns out to be a write-off or has outstanding finance on it, has been salvaged or imported or exported, anything like that, and they will refund you the cost of your original check. Something that is completely unique to Vehicle Score. No other checking service, I believe, does that. You can find the link in the description for Vehicle Score. Make sure you download the app today and use Vehicle Score when purchasing your next car.
Morning all, welcome back to the Car UK channel, and you join me here at the Car Pitch. We're dealing cars under £5,000 retail, the cheaper end of the market. Now we're going to do a bit of a walk round in a minute, go through what's been going on over the last few days. But before we do that, as the title of this video suggests, I've got a slight problem. And the problem relates to this vehicle, a Range Rover Evoque. This happens to belong to my good lady wife. And I got a call the other day which sent shivers down my spine, which is something that I've been dreading happening over the last year, which is saying that there's something major gone wrong with it. So it's now here, so we're going to have a look at it, find out what's gone wrong with it, and see how much this piece of yes is going to cost me to fix. Right, here is the offending vehicle. So this is a 2014, I think it is. I think it's 13, 14, somewhere around there anyway. I think it's 13 actually because it's got the older gearbox in. Range Rover Evoque 2.2 diesel. Automatic, which I bought for her last year from Aston Barclay. It was around a year ago actually. And actually paid half decent money for it, mainly because it's a dynamic model and the colour and just basically what she wanted. And unfortunately, all sort of common sense went out the window. The reason we bought it was because our older car, which was another Land Rover, which was just as unreliable, being a Range Rover Sport, and extremely expensive to tax. It was getting on my nerves. It was getting to its age where I thought there's going to be a lot of money needed spending on this over the next year or so. So we decided basically just to change it up to one of these. She does like a Land Rover. And in fairness to Land Rovers, when they run right, which is not very often, they are very, very good cars. You know, don't compare this to another crossovers like the Cougars or your Mockers. These are far superior things to drive. But they're just not reliable. That's the issue. And some are much less reliable than others. This one, it's had a few little issues, but not anything major. It's mainly just wear and tear stuff. The two that have worried me or been on my mind is issues with the gearbox, the auto boxes, because you can suffer with like juddery issues and stuff like that, which this has shown the odd sign now and then, but have recently serviced it, and I'm going to have it serviced again soon as well. Although we might not be doing that in a minute because I think it's something really seriously wrong with this. But generally the things that can go wrong with them are later engine ones, 2 litre onwards, 16 or 15, 16 onwards. They're not very good, the Ingenu engines. They can suffer with chain issues, DPF issues, all sorts. The manuals are alright, to be fair, but I just prefer the autos. Autos, early boxes a bit juddery, not as refined, later boxes a lot better. Sweet spot for these, if you're ever thinking of buying one, probably around between sort of late 14, 15 plates with a 2.2 engine in. The actual engines themselves are very good. Not as economical as the later engines, but far more reliable. They don't really have many issues with the engine side. However, being a Land Rover, it doesn't just stop there with a few isolated things. There's generally quite a few bits on a Land Rover that's going to go wrong and basically can hit you in the old bollocks. And this one has decided to throw a horrible, horrible noise up when you're driving now, and it doesn't sound very good. It sounds quite serious. So anyway, as like I said, I got a call the other day from the wife basically saying that the car was really noisy and tried sending me a little voice note of it, which to be honest with you didn't really give me any inkling at all what would be wrong with it. But it's now here anyway, the car, as you can see. So I think the best thing we can do is jump in it after I've answered that telephone and go and see what is wrong with this old Land Rover. Right, let's fire up. Never in doubt. In fairness, the one thing this car has been good with, should I say, is the engine. It's that 2.2 engine they used, which was from the previous model, the Freelander. And also was in a lot of Peugeot vans and some of Ford products as well, actually. Very, very good engine. That is a very, very good engine. Unfortunately, the rest of the Land Rovers usually fall to pieces. Let's go and take this for a spin up the road. Right, so hopefully at low speed we're about to hear this straight away. It's coming from the back. If I just let off now, I don't know if you're picking that up. It's like a vibration and a thudding noise, and you can feel the back end being sort of pulled along. Oh, it's horrible. Even now at low speed I can feel it. Oh yeah, it's a real vibration through the car, and like I say, it's coming through the back end, and it's just a snatchiness towards obviously the back end of the vehicle, where they're obviously it's 4-wheel drive, so you've got a prop shaft going to the rear diff. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's where the problem lies with this, because it's just not, even now I'm driving, I can feel vibrations even through the actual drivetrain of the car, because I imagine there's something internally's gone down. It's obviously causing a vibration then, in a big knock then, as we come off a bump, which might also be to the fact the shockers are knackered as well on the back, which we need to put on. But yeah, it does feel in the drivetrain, it's all sort of down here and backwards, you can feel it dragging through. The actual box itself, which is actually behaving itself at the moment, we've had a few minor issues with this box. The early boxes on these Evoques, so the 2.2 diesel ran from 12 to 15 or late 15 in the Evoque. I think it lasted a bit longer in the Discovery Sport, but in the Evoque it was late 15. And the boxes in the first few years, these, oh god, that noise is bad, used to suffer with a little bit of judder when you set off, but you'd feel that from the front of the car, and it was literally just like almost like clutch judder you'd call it, but obviously it's an automatic box, but that's the same sort of feeling. And that was usually just down to the fact of, and again that noise is shit, that was usually down to the fact of just poor fluid changes. They were needing regular servicing, and you can't really get away with just changing the fluid out of them. You've got to do it multiple times because the oil is so badly contaminated and gets dirty, and you won't rectify it unless you clean it out. We actually did a flush on this when we got it, but it's such a pain to do the flush. We did it a couple of times, but we never quite got it all out, because you never can if you're just going to drain it manually. You're never going to get it all out, the torque converter and stuff. So we actually planned to get this in anyway, to have a proper flush out done with a proper machine that basically can suck all the fluid out, so you get all that grime and rubbish out of the box itself, and then put nice fresh fluid in. Now in fairness, he's not actually had issues with the box lately, but we wanted to get that done, and it was on my list of things to be getting done with this car, along with rear shockers that needed going on, just a few other bits needed tidying up, and also a new timing belt as well I was going to put on it. But now this is obviously more pressing, and it's not good, because the car really is not really drivable. If we carry on driving this now, I'm going to go park it up in a sec, it is going to leave the wife stranded somewhere. It's just going to lock up. It could be actually really dangerous as well if it locks up, and we don't want that to happen, because I'm quite fond of her. Oh god, that back end as I went round there, it was literally snatching round. Definitely time to go park this up and get online and have a look and see how much this is going to cost me to sort out. I'm getting a bit worried now, because diffs are not usually cheap, and I don't really want to go down the route of putting a second-hand one on. I'm not saying I'm completely against that. I would like to get a new one or a recon one, but I've just got a sneaking suspicion this is going to be really expensive to sort out, and it won't just be something straightforward either. It'll be something more complex. So I'm going to go back now, have a look online, see what the situation is on getting a rear diff ordered for this Land Rover. Right, so I've got myself in front of the computer, and actually, in fairness, I've gone online and have a read about these rear diffs, which I knew was a common thing on them, to be fair. It's not that bad, actually. I'm quite surprised. I've just basically gone on eBay, first of all, just trying to see what sort of new ones would be, and in worst case, we can look at recons and second hand. Loads of recon diffs on there. I mean, I just found one now straight away. I'll show on your screen. 375 quid, and there's loads of companies, within sort of 10, 20 pounds of each other. So there's, like I said, quite a few there to going on with. This one I'll probably go with on screen because it's got 24 months warranty with it, and we can have it in a couple of days. So like I say, that is probably half what I was expecting to pay just for the unit. Obviously, the labour side of it doesn't really faze us because obviously we'll do it ourselves. Don't really want to be putting the car on the ramp, but we don't need to, and fixing it at the moment because we are absolutely, just busting a gut trying to get sold cars out and new stuff on sale. But we need the car back on the road. The wife needs a car, otherwise we're just all short of vehicles because we're borrowing, pool cars and stuff like that just to get from A to B. So I'm pleased with that. The only other thing on the rear diff we'll need, obviously gear rods we've got here, but also inside it is a Heldex pump, which I remember rightly on the wife's one, when I first checked it over, it looked like it'd been either replaced or it'd been out previously. It was all resealed, a little bit bodged in with sealant, but it was functioning. But now it's obviously we're putting a new now we're putting a new rear diff on. I think it'd be better we did put a new Heldex pump on there as well, because obviously that could potentially maybe faulty. That might what's caused the diff to fail. We don't know. We'll probably have a look when we get it off. So I'm going to order a new pump as well. I ordered the whole service kit, so it comes with all the pumps, the filters, the fluid, and the little machine you use to put the fluid in, because that can be quite fiddly. So we'll do that. I mean, that's 200 odd quid. It's nearly as much as the diff. But yeah, it needs doing. But once we've done that, we should have an half-decent Land Rover again. Well, at least for a while. Right, well, that's not going to affect us too much then. I was getting a bit worried there that we might have to remortgage the old house to get the wife's car back on the road. But luckily, it's not going to be as dear as I thought. Let me show you around the pitch anyway, because we have sold a few cars since the last update. I've had a few arrivals as well, and I've also had a character on the pitch as well who's bought a vehicle. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one this, so any thoughts on it, I'd like to hear them. But let's have a look round first on the pitch. Right, in case you're wondering what this big pallet is here, it's a piece of glass. Let's just pick that up for a customer of ours who we're going to dispatch it on. But very big crate there for a very small piece of glass, which I thought was quite funny. Anyway, what have we been getting on with? So we have sold in fact, actually, before we start, you just noticed a few seconds ago there was a lady who went past on a push bike then, and on Saturday she actually came in. It was actually quite funny. I didn't have a recording device to hand, but I wish I could have recorded it. But that lady was basically riding down here, and there was a car, someone parked outside the gates here because they'd gone to the shop. Now, he was on the pavement, but he wasn't blocking the pavement. He could have easily got past very, very easily. I'm not saying he should be on the pavement, but he wasn't blocking the pavement completely. And she'd seen the car, obviously half at the pavement, and decided then to slow down, but didn't really want to stop. And there was sort of coming in the gate, and we don't like people on bikes on the pitch, and man on bike, or lady on bike in this case, are never welcome. And she was sort of slowing down. And when you got someone who's sort of like shuffling side to side, but trying to keep the bike going without sort of falling off it. And as she's here, I was literally walking up to a car to actually take this the sold board or sold sign out of the Seat we had just sold. And she was going, I need to get through. I can't stop. Can I get through the other gate here? So basically she wanted to come round here, go round the side, out, and back out of that gate to avoid this car. And I was just basically going, no, you can't go out the other gate. Get out. So I just spent around about 2 minutes going around in a circle, trying to stay on this bike, and I was like, oh, please don't fall off. Please don't hit a car. And trying to shoo her out the door. Very, very strange character. We get a lot of strange characters around here. It's full of them. Anyway, sorry about that. Moving back onto cars. So the Seat Ibiza, we'll start with that because we sold it. So we sold that. That lasted about 2 days on sale. Loads of interest on it. We had a few test drives. People going away looking at insurances and stuff, young drivers. And in the end, a older driver, male chap who came in for it, and he's buying it as a stopgap car for himself while his car is, I can't remember if it's off the road or something, but he hasn't got a car. And then he's going to pass it down to his son who's learning to drive. So he's killed two birds, one stone. Good sellers, the Ibifas. We could get these in all the time. I would, because it's just really good news. Brilliant little first cars for that sort of $2-3 market, and we knock them out straight away. 1.4s, 1.2s, they're all the same really. Say each their own, and they're just decent cars, and I think they're better than Polos, as I've said before on the channel. So that's good. That one's all boxed off. We've also what else have we sold? We sold a DS3, which we'll come back to in a minute. We've sold the Kia Rio, which is over there. That's all sold as well. There are a few cars here I'm not going to talk much about, because one of them in particular I'm going to do a separate video on. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. The Fiat, we've already talked about that in my last update video. That's a Part X, sorry, it's not a Part X. That's a trade vehicle we bought in very cheap, which we're going to put a clutch in and just basically trade on and get a drink out of. Need to get that 107 turned around, that's been lying around too long. That white KA sold, need to get that out in the next few days. Got a little black Suzuki, a little cheapy little 1995er, which we're just sorting out an interior out at the moment. We've got another IB for that's just landed as well, a little 1 point, I think it's a 1.4, this 1.5 door in red, which has only just landed. However, I got it very cheap, and the reason I got it cheap was for a good reason, we can't quite see, is that, I'm looking at the back there, someone has decided to try and eat the seat, which is nice of them. So I've got to get a new interior for that and clean all that out, but it was very, very cheap, so it will stand having another interior put in it and we can make it into a car again. C1, think we may have sold this, we may have sold it. We've had a bit of interest over the last few days, had a test drive on it last week, and the lady who test drove it last week has been back in touch, sent a friend up to have a look at it for like a second opinion, and they are going away now to confirm insurance, and hopefully on Monday, hopefully we can get a deposit down on it, which I'll be really pleased about. And we have got another one to replace that as well, but I'll cover that in a separate video. Now, we've already sold the IB, if we mentioned that. We've got C1, 14 plate C1 that's just landed here in white. That one we sold the other week, that lasted about 24 hours. That's going to get a clutch put in it this week and sent off to the customer. That's going off to Wales. This one has just landed. I have a chap for this already, so we have a man who is down for a top of the list for a C1, and I'm going to ring him on Monday and offer it him first refusal, and if he doesn't want it, then obviously we'll keep ringing around, because we've got a few other names, and if not, we'll just work to get it on sale, put it on sale. It needs an alternator at the moment, so that's why it's missing. I don't know why they've bothered taking the arch liners out, but someone's removed the arch liners from underneath the arches, put them in the back, but the battery light is on, just still run and drive, but the alternator is not charging properly. So I'm going to put an alternator on it, and then we'll get to work on it, sort it all out. It is a base model one. I'm going to get some new trims, because they're a bit scruffy on the front, give it a bloody good mop up, make it look lovely again, do all the seals, all the under seal, and make it look proper thing. On a 14 plates, last of the last as well, of the Mark 1s. But as we all know, very popular car, and they're very, very reliable. Right, let's talk about this DS3 before we go. Oh, by the way, I've got a Nissan Note Automatic. I got that done on sale. I'm amazed if that is still here by the end of the week, because we don't get many autos. Back to the DS3. So if you remember this one, this is the one I briefly made a little joke about the other day. It's got a goldfish or a carp or a slippery eel in the headlight, which I've now got a headlight for it. I ordered a new headlight off eBay for it, and the company selling it did send me out a part for the DS3, but not a headlight. They actually sent me a wing mirror, as I call it, or a door mirror, or a mirror, as someone corrected me the other day. They didn't like the fact that I'd used the word wing mirror, which I understand, yes, it's not a wing mirror as such, but you know what I meant. Anyway, the wrong part turned up, so I've had to send that back, but in the meantime, someone kindly, and if they are watching, thanks very much, has sent me a headlight out, which they didn't need to do, but I do really appreciate it, so thank you very much. So I'm now going to get a refund on my headlight, and I'm going to use the one that's been given to me. So we'll whack that in, because it's now sold. I'm going to get it in the workshop and finish it off as well. But the guy who bought this was, how can I put it? Well, let's start off with the story. So, the chap in question who has bought this car doesn't have a driving licence. He's never had a driving licence from what I can gather, or if he has, he certainly hasn't had one recently. And I shall put this in a polite way, and he's a sort of person, when he appeared, how can I put it, like to drink, shall we say. Just like a drink. And we all love a drink, but there is a limit. And he's been coming in back into, and he only lives locally, for the last sort of 3 weeks, every other day. And he's been basically trying to buy the C1 convertible over there we mentioned a few minutes ago, the white one, which was plonked by the gate. And me seeing that he was heavily intoxicated, and apparently from what I've been heard from locals around here who know him, he doesn't seem to have a driving licence, was trying to basically not sell him the car, obviously. So he's just basically, no, it's not for you, or why don't you come back and we'll go check your insurance and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I don't want it to drive and blah, blah. Just thinking, why do you want to buy a car if you're not going to drive it? Anyway, this has gone on for weeks and weeks. He keeps coming in and he was trying to make an offer on the C1, knock it down 200 quid, he'll take it. And then he said he'll pay the asking price. And I'm saying, you know, I don't think we can sell it yet because, you know, you haven't got a licence at the moment. You need to bring your licence in. Oh, I haven't got one, blah, blah. Just going around in circles. And this has gone on, like I said, for so long now. And the other day he came in and then seen this DS3 which we put on sale, and then started on the same sort of scenario again. I'll buy it now. And it just basically caught me the other day. I was rushing between sort of doing things and just got a bit frustrated, and I thought, you know what, sod it, I've given up now. I've tried the last 3 weeks of palming me out the door politely and saying, I don't really want to sell you a car if you haven't got a driving licence. And I've just thought, you know what, sod it. No, if you can't help yourself, I'm not going to help you. So basically, I had him in and said, look, if you want to buy the car, mate, it's entirely up to you. And by the way, before people start saying anything, he was sober on this occasion. It was one of the few times he was sober. We'll take a deposit off you. But you understand, you're buying a car, and I'm going to deliver it to you. You're not driving it. I'll deliver it to your house, and I'll plonk it on your drive, and I'll give you all the docs and all the keys. But that is what's happening. If you can accept that, you can have the car. Otherwise, you need to stop coming here and say, don't come back here again. That's up to you, but I want you to go away and think about it. Off he trots, comes back 2 hours later. I'll still want the car. Fine, give it here, give us your money. So I've took a deposit off him, and I don't feel great about it. I'd rather sell it to someone's actually going to use the car. And it now transpires, speaking to some other people who know him locally, that he apparently has done this for years. He buys a car, he sits it on his drive, never drives it, doesn't know how to drive, and lets it sit there for years and years. It rots away, and then he scraps it and buys another one. So apparently he's got form for this. So I don't know what to suggest about that, really. The man is more entitled to buy the car. He doesn't have to have a driving licence to buy a car. He has to have a driving licence to drive it. So he shan't be driving it away, put it that way. We'll be taking it to his house, delivering it, putting the keys all in a box for him, and that's it, done, dusted. Yeah, it's a little bit of a strange one. Like I said, I'm not here to police people's lives. And the man, when he's bought this car, he's put a deposit down on it, was in a sober state. On the one of a few occasions that he was. There's not much else we can do. We're not here to, like I said, manage people's lives. At the end of the day, if he wants to buy a car, he's well entitled to. Right, what are we getting up to next week? First of all, a little bit of an update on the old raffle that completed the other week. Obviously, if you're not aware, raffle concluded on the 17th of March. A chap has won the Mini, which I mentioned in the last previous video, and he's going to get that collected very, very soon, which is good, because once we've got that done, we can get funds released and we can start getting to work organising money for charities, which we've already earmarked many thousands of pounds. I've already started that. I've started paying some people out of my own pocket, but there are lots of other causes we're working with as well, and I've got some ideas, some new ones as well for any future raffles we may or may not do. And I have got, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag here, 2 more cars that potentially might run side by side in a new raffle, which I think you'll find quite interesting, but we'll talk more about that at a later date. In the minute, let's get this one ball boxed off and get some prizes and money out to charities as well. Thanks as well to people who contacted me for the sub prizes. They've been in contact, and we've now sent all them out, so they should have them hopefully tomorrow, if not already. As for next week, well, I'm planning on going to a new auction site opening up in the northeast. We're going to go into a van sale, so a commercial van sale, which is going to be really interesting. I've had a look at the catalogues already. I might actually have some stuff earmarked down for a cluster of mine, so hopefully I'll be going there in a buying capacity as well. And I will buy the odd small van now and then. It is quite rare, but, you know, when in Rome, I'll have a go. So we're going to go and have a look at that, because vans are really interesting. And to be honest with you, van auctions are very, very few and far between. There's not many of them anymore, so it's very, very interesting content to see what van prices are doing. So that is definitely coming next week. Also as well, we've got plenty of stuff I've been buying in the background, so I'll do some videos on that. I've got a video which is coming out on Tuesday, all being well, talking about a particular engine which I now believe is probably one of the worst engines you can buy in a modern car. So I'm going to talk to you about the problems and issues that go along with this particular unit. And of course, we'll be catching up with some further pitch updates as well later in the week. So thank you for watching this update video. Don't forget also to check out our good friends at Vehicle Score. You can find the link in the description and the promo code CARUK20 to get 20% off any of their paid checks. But remember, the basic service is completely free. Thanks again, and I'll see you all in the next one.